welcome to the Tiger Lair.
All right.
Yeah.
Start off, simple question. How do you like the Joby 1 Kenobi sign?
I love the Joby 1 Kenobi sign, basically for this reason. My grandkids are now third generation Star Wars lovers, and so when my grandkids came to a game, saw the sign, they felt like I was a real rock star. So I appreciate that, because someday you'll understand, to be famous with your grandkids is about as good as it gets.
Okay. So this is the first year since 2008 where McClain has had a winning basketball season. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think these guys have proved a number of things. First of all, that good people who do things right make success just a matter of time. I think when back in June, when other people were playing video games and staying up middle of the night, engaging in Fortnite, those guys, we had a core of guys that applied themselves every single day, 2 hours a day, to improving their skills. And so this started way back when, and I think they invested in their basketball like a bank. And now here we are, as soon as December hit, season ready to go, they were ready to go. And also, when you talk about good people, these guys are very willing, 5 individual guys at a time are willing to play as one. And along with playing as one, they also play for one another. It's kind of an old-fashioned value in a lot of places to talk about being a servant to your teammates, or being your brother's keeper. But these guys really illustrated that.
Okay. So how's it feel? You graduated from Greenfield, right?
I did.
How's it feel? You going out coaching, and you come back here. What's that like?
The term is blessed. I graduated from high school here. I had some great teammates and played on a great team. And among those great teammates is you all science teacher, Mr. Gossett, for instance. So it was a group very similar to this. And from my high school experience came the feeling that there's not much better than to be. I don't think anybody's truly whole until you do something outside of your comfort zone that's bigger than you. And being part of a team back then was really, really healthy. And to have lived a professional lifetime. I started my first coaching job in 1982 in Piketon, where we visit next Tuesday. But to kind of to be out there for that long, and then to have the opportunity to come back, it's just a blessed feeling, and it's truly been a dream come true to be back here and back in this community, and to know what basketball means to this place.
All right, so knowing our past, like for example with Dante and Coach Van Meter and all that, what was your train of thought coming into this basketball season?
Well, history being as it is, first of all, we're in a basketball crazy community, and guys always has been, and hopefully always will. I grew up on the above the one basket here in what we call the old gym. I call it the classic, but I saw great basketball then. Once things now sweep through, that was a great time here. You mentioned Dante, now coaching at Xavier, but by the same token, that sets an expectation level of being excellent at something, and to be able to do that, first of all, you've got to get a buy-in from the guys who are presently interested in basketball, not just to play the game, but work at the game, and to work every single day to improve. And we've had that, and that's the only thing we can control. Each of us, we can control our attitude, we can control our effort, and little else. But when those two things are top notch, then I think you can expect a top notch result, and these guys have proved that.
All right, so playing a team like Hillsboro, how do you prepare the players mentally and physically going into the game?
Well, two things. First of all, this is one that motivational speech number 289 really isn't needed. These guys have lived their own history with Hillsboro and our neighbors to the south. That being said, this is one of the fun rivalries in high school basketball. This league sets up the schedule with those rivals in mind, and ours is indeed Hillsboro. So you don't need the motivational things. Bottom line for us is being at our best when our best is needed. We're counting on them to play their guts out and to have a good plan as well. And our mission is to not just meet that effort, but go beyond it and have our own plan and execute our own plan, better than they do.
Whether it's sports or anything, everyone has like a loss at some point or where they're defeated. How do you come back from that, and like what motivates you to improve, or
What a great question. I think that we're talking now about one of the great values of athletics, which is there's a quote out there that has been attributed to several different people. Nelson Mandela being one of those, but also it kind of goes back to ancient times to say the measure of greatness is not in never falling, but rising each time you do. We live in a country that is blessed to allow second chances, and I think that first of all, I've learned that winners don't always win. And that's a deep one when you think about it, because you can be a winner, you can have a great season. Every great season isn't a championship season. It's about what you invest of yourself and what you invest in the group. So there's an intangible thing there, all right, that we're tested in the low points, and I think that you can emerge from those better. We've had one of those. Come to January, we have had nothing but one really good opponent after another. Then we've had weather, and then we, for instance, go to Union on a Saturday night, and they play out of their mind. They go 8 of 13 from the three-point line and beat us by a basket. We need to take responsibility for the things that we didn't get done, but also understand that this is a test. This is only a test, and the test is, are we going to rise up and be better because of it? Tuesday night with our great crowd here, I think we saw this group of Browns pretty well.
If you could change one thing from this season, whatever it is, what would it be?
Now that's a challenger. That really is a challenger, because we have a core of 5 things that we call our core values, and that's passion, it's unity, it's servanthood, it's humility, and it's thankfulness. And so, bottom line, that last thankfulness word is one of the critical ones here, because I think that every team, every individual in a chair in this room has had moments where they've really hurt, where giving up might have been easier in their mind. And you got a tired body and a tired mind, and wondering whether all the work at times is worth it. So the hard part for me would be to say, guys, could you change one thing? I wouldn't change a thing in regard to this team, because what we've seen is, in the moments when I'm tempted to say, well, I wish we wouldn't have gone through that. Fact of the matter is, we're better for having gone through it. Okay, so what I'm left with are things like changing Owen O'Connor's sport coat to be a little more stylish on the sideline. I think I would change that.
All right. So how do you prepare for future seasons with players graduating and new ones coming in? as years gone? How do you like make adjustments with that?
Well, only, only the state penitentiary has 5-year lettermen, okay? And so if you're not interested in coaching at the state penitentiary, then you know that people, young guys are they're going to come in, they're going to go out. The big thing for me is I would like it to be that, these guys, each of these guys, and frankly they've done it. We've got a big senior class that we're going to celebrate on Saturday against Hillsboro, and because these guys have set a standard for what it takes to be successful, and frankly do it when it's kind of unexpected. But from year to year, I think each of these guys has left a mark on a teammate that teammate's going to remember. Those things become then a part of them. And as we have new people come into this room, the standard is not just words from my mouth, it's words that our returning guys need to live out in front of them, and we think they're going to do that.
How has either your past coaches or past mentors influenced the way how you coach?
It's everything. It's everything. And Coach Gossett and I played in the first game down here in what we still call the new gym 43 years later, but that's okay. It is the new gym and it still looks new, daggone it. We've really taken care of it. But, it's everything. I had a first experience as a elementary school basketball player at Buckskin School, and I had coaches that encouraged us, that equipped us to do what needed to be done, and then when we had something hard happen, they encouraged us to get beyond that. That was a 5th grade concept, and the coach was a gentleman named Joe Current. Who's also the best English teacher that I ever had, and also the reason that I taught English for 30 years. And wasn't a day went by that I didn't ask myself, how would Mr. Current teach this concept right here? But so I would say first of all, in then my high school coach, the things that I recall were, first of all, being real positive and just having an expectation that things would work out. And from that positivity, we came to trust what he said as true. And then when we hit a brick wall, okay, now we would reevaluate, okay, and see what it was to not go through that wall again, rather to find a door and get through it another way. And so my elementary coach, Joe Current, my high school coach, Sam Snyder, and that all happened right here in this community, and it's been something I've carried, I've carried with me since. So, that's why it's such a privilege to be here, because the values that I've talked about in this room with this group of guys are values from this community that were planted long ago, and I just repeat those things.
All right, so what are your thoughts on the student section and just the McClain mentality, as we call it now, that they bring, and the spirit and all that? Because it's a pretty crazy student section. It's great.
It is, without a doubt, it's without a doubt the most fantastic student section, not just in our league, not just in Southern Ohio. First of all, it's an educated crowd. I mean, we've got have their own Twitter account, for pity's sakes, okay? It's a real deal, okay? It's really there. But the enthusiasm they bring, my first pregame talk of the season was not to this team. Our first pregame talk was I talked to the pep band. Because, the musicians in this building, those people that come there, I'm responsible for the atmosphere in this room, but it's the pep band and the cheerleaders that are responsible for what happens over there. Mm-hmm. But within every team here, there's a leader, but we talk about we need a leader in every chair. And leadership is about being positive, okay, being at your best when your best is needed. And our student section has done that every single blessed time. Result of that is, in terms of tangible, we've lost one game on this floor, and that was the second week of December. Each time we're here, I know these guys would tell you, when we go out that door and get that response from our student body, from our pep band, and then I think the older folks just follow the lead of the students. That makes this a special place, and that makes being a McClain Tiger basketball player something really special indeed. It matters. It's worth points to us.
What do you like to do outside of coaching?
What do I like to do outside of coaching? I read a great deal. I have my wife and I 11 grandkids. Our seasons don't allow for us to see them much and be a part of things with them that we would like to. But you know, so that being the case, you know, I've loved to read since being a kid. I think it's the only way that you continually can improve yourself. I don't think that's happening with a video game. All right, I've got some pretty mad video game skills, but the fact of the matter is, you know, I just think that my learning style more fits a good book, and I also, from my dad, I inherited love of all things Abraham Lincoln, and I also chase American history around. I like to be at the place where things happen and try to get a sense of what that feels like.
It's going a little off topic here, but you said you got mad gaming skills. What games do you play?
Well, I don't want to get into that because you know, I use an alias for the video games that we play online, and you know, I don't want to tip my hand as you know, to what I'm thinking and all that. I think I should just leave that to be anonymous.
All right. So if I'm correct in saying, you and Eric Huffer both graduated from here, right?
We did, a lifetime apart.
What is it like seeing him? Because you were his, what was it?
I recruited Eric when men's basketball, we started the men's basketball program at Southern State. And that was, that we recruited basically for 2 years, put everything together, and then we're going to field a team the next year. Eric was graduating, and saw him play several times. Eric's father-in-law is a high school teammate of mine. Picture on the wall down here. Jeff Holsinger with our 1975 championship team. That's his father-in-law. So you know, that being the case, you know, I really liked what I saw of Eric as a player, and then once you come to know him as a person, he's somebody that I felt like, gosh, if we could get him there, leadership would be taken care of, and he had that in him. He went to Southern State with the idea of computer programming or some such nonsense. I'm sorry for the nonsense, but really didn't know what he wanted to do, but thought, well, something computer. And then as he had a good high school coach, and his experience at Southern State was very, very good. He's our leading scorer. Broke an ankle and came back from that in the same season, pretty impressively. But also he and I are in contact quite a bit. Each fall we've made trips to college practices together, and so it's really, really rewarding for me. You know, I'm a coach because of a coach, and Eric's been encouraged, I think, because of his experience here and also with us at Southern State, so it's a good thing.
You get to have some fun, friendly competition with him when we're facing Chillicothe?
The competition against Chillicothe, friendly, okay. Fun, rarely. You know, they bring a good game, and we work to do that as well. And, you know, our last trip there was not a good one, but our last trip there was the last time we played poorly. So, we'll be thankful for that and know that, Chillicothe's Chillicothe. They have an enrollment, they've got numbers, and they've got, they've got a lot of advantages in a lot of ways, and they've set a high standard.
All right, well, we've been here with Coach Stewart today. Any last things you'd like to say to the people in McClain High School?
Well, we are down to, bottom line, we are down to 2 home games left, 64 minutes. I equated the other night in this locker room that, each of you guys had a mother, and at some point in time the doctor says, okay, we're down in the last hour. And so, mom prepared herself mentally and delivered the child, and it was a fantastic celebration, but we're kind of down to it. We're down to a place where we need to set aside just about everything and plan to be there for our guys. 2 straight Saturdays, 2 straight opponents that let's just say we would really like to be at our best against both of them. We're talking Hillsboro, Washington Courthouse, so we're kind of down to it. Need all healthy bodies, and you know what? Just put the unhealthy things aside. We've got to be here. Got to be here en masse to support these guys.
All right, well, thank you. Everyone be sure to be out there this Saturday. Come see us face Hillsboro. Back to the studio.